Hey friends and family, welcome to Marcie Creates. This is Marcie. Welcome to Tutorial Tuesday, and we are going to be continuing to work with the bargain bead box, and we're going to be using our colorway that we picked out for the additions to the colors. Predominantly, if you remember the box, I believe it's called Earthen Elegance, has a lot of the really pretty rust tones. Last video I showed you these beads. I want to incorporate these beads today in the necklace, and we are going to use the really pretty donut. And then I thought we would also use this really pretty component to hang from the bottom of the donut bead and do a few drops. Now this has 5 holes, but I'm not going to use all 5. I'm just going to use 3 of them. I think if you could just use 1, 3, or 5. I would stick to odd numbers. Those always visually look the best. I did pull out some beads. My thought was to continue with this colorway in this order throughout the necklace. So I just have this here as a guide. And if you recall, the copper and this really pretty jasper and these beads all came in the mix, along with these gold bicones, or kind of bronzy bicones. And I've added this kind of yellow, the blue, the seafoam green or turquoise, and the darker blue. So we're going to incorporate all those into the necklace today. And I'm just going to lay this right here. And my first thought was to do this middle piece and get that anchored into the component. And I'm going to use some 22 gauge copper wire. And then the other thing I need to think about is how I want to attach that. I think I'm going to attach it with the wire and then attach this really pretty kind of dark blue rondelle. And I haven't decided if I want to add any beads to that yet. I've got to think about that. But for now, I just want to pay attention to this component and adding some dangles. And like I said, I'm going to do 3. You could do all 5. You don't have to. These are pretty close together. And so I thought it might hang better if I didn't use all of them. But if you're using smaller beads, you could probably get away with doing all 5. But do stick to odd numbers. That's something, that's a little trick I learned I went to interior design school when I was younger, and when they were talking about displays and displaying collections and things in your home, they always talked about using odd numbers. And then I also worked in retail, and all of the retail visual people that did the windows and stuff also reiterated that kind of little rule, if you will. So always think of odd numbers. That's, you know, like if you're ever like redoing a bookshelf in your home and you have knickknacks, do things in groups of odd numbers. It does make a difference. So I was just going to wire wrap this really pretty drop and then attach it here. And so I'm just going to come up like that, and I'm going to make a loop and just do a wire wrap, a really loose one. And I may come down and add a little more embellishment, but for now I'm just gonna do a little wrap. We'll see if I want to do more or not. And then we're just going to add our beads. I like this bumpy, sparkly guy. He's pretty cool. And then kind of this ochre yellow. And let's add that to our component. I'm missing my flat nose pliers. Here we go. So I'm off from work this week, and this bead room looks like a tornado went off in it. If you saw my video of my tour, oh, it's not neat anymore. So I've been trying to get a handle on the bead room for the last few days, and it's coming along. It helps for me anyway. I have an audio book on that I've been listening to, so that's helpful. You don't really, you know, if you're sorting things, it's just kind of mindless. And so I like listening to audiobooks when I make jewelry and when I also am trying to tidy up in here. So let's see. I think I'm just going to make that a simple. I'm not going to do a whole lot of wrapping. But if you decide to, that's your choice. You could wrap all the way down and make like a, what looks like a bead cap if you wanted. And then I could wrap this around these beads, but again, I think I'm going to stick, I got some other things to do with this necklace, so I think I'm going to stick with something simple this time. All right, and I'm just going to tuck that in. And there's my first dangle. Now these two are going to be shorter. I am going to be picking up some more graphic elements also. So I have these Z beads here, and these more kind of flattened round Z beads that I'm going to be using in the necklace. So we're just going to make a simple wrap with these, just to kind of echo that idea. I'm thinking maybe I want that to be a little bit longer. So maybe we'll add a little navy. Let's try this little navy guy. And let's do a bead cap. Why not? It came with the box, so we'll use it. Our blue. All right, let's see how that looks. I don't want it super long, but I just want it to be, I think it needed to be a tad longer than what it was. All right, we'll try that. So again, I'm just going to make a small loop. It did warm up here in Texas. We were bitterly cold Friday. For those of you still dealing with that, stay warm, please. That stuff is no joke. I heard a bunch of people passed away up in New York. That made me really sad. That cold was no joke, even for people that are used to it. I mean, your body can only take so much. But I hope wherever you are, you're safe and warm. Let me see if I like that. That's cute. All right, so let me get rid of this little extra piece. So I don't know about you all, but I'm looking forward to 2023 being a good year. It's one nice thing about New Year's. I think we all like to start fresh and have lots of good hopes. And I have a lot of good hopes for all of you. I hope that you'll have a wonderful year, a safe and healthy one, and a happy one. I'm excited to do more with the channel next year. More on that later. And I think I'm at 1,391 subscribers, which is crazy. If you're not subscribed, I'd love to have you. Please do subscribe. And if you are subscribed, thank you very, very much. It means a lot to me. But what a milestone. I think I've had the channel a year and a half. And I truly appreciate each and every one of you and all your kind comments and suggestions. I like the suggestions. That helps me give you content you're interested in. So, all right. Like I said, I'm not using all 5 of these holes, but you certainly could. It's totally up to you. That does not want to go in there. Come here, mister. Oh, much better. Yeah, so this week I'm trying to, since I'm off from work, I am trying to get more organized in the house. I really want to be, of course I say this every year, more organized next year. It's a struggle. Oops. Didn't mean to bump the camera, guys. Sorry about that. And, but I'm determined. I was even watching videos on how to fold your clothes right so you can stack them in your drawer. And there's several methods. There's that Marie Kondo method. And then I found a lady that actually makes pouches so that when you rifle around in your drawer, your stuff doesn't go flying. So I've been trying to do that. I have to watch her video again because I did it wrong. All right, so there's our component to hang from our donut. So now I think, so one of my thoughts was, to do the wire, but maybe add a few little turquoise seed beads so that there's a little bit of a color here. So I'm just going to dump these out, and I'm going to take my 22 gauge wire again. I'm going to pull out oops. Well, that's the bottom. Is it that bottom? Oh no, it got caught. Okay. Whew. I thought I was going the wrong way with that. So I'm going to pull a mess of wire, as we say in Texas. And let me straighten this out a little. Let's see. How am I going to do that? I think I want to make a loop down here. Like that. See that? And I'm going to hang this from the loop I'm just going to slightly open that. This is soft enough I can do it with my fingers. Okay. And then, let me straighten one of these. I'm going to do a wrap. There's probably a myriad of ways you could do this, but this is how I'm doing it. Okay, so now I have this wrapped piece, and I think I'm gonna cut it in the back here. I will save this for an earring. Never fear, that wire will not go to waste. I promise. All right. So now we have this. I just want this to be loose so it moves. Sorry, I wasn't in the camera. I want this to be loose so it moves when it's hanging from the donut. All right. Sorry guys, I had to go off camera for a second because it was toasty in here. I needed to take off my sweater. Okay. I think we have the heat blasting from when it was Friday. I've got to go check that. All right, so this is going to be hanging. And so I'm just going to wrap this wire a couple of times. So I went on the one side of it. I'm going to go on the other side. Just so it's even. You could also use 24 gauge. I already started with the 22, so I'm committed. So now I'm at the point where if I want to add those seed beads, I'm going to do that now, and I think I do want to do that and just have just a bit of color here. So I'm going to do that next. So I'm just going to scoop them up. Make sure they fit on your wire. They for sure will fit. These are number 11 seed beads. They will fit for sure on 24 gauge, but depending on your thickness of wire. Of course, if you use a thicker wire, you could do number 6. If you're using 26 gauge, I don't know if I recommend 26 gauge, but if you did do 26 gauge, you could probably do number 15s. Those are T90 though. I almost need a magnifying glass when I'm dealing with number 15 seed beads. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, that looks cute. All right. I think that's enough. I'm just going to push this through here. Let me grab a... It helps to have a tool. Push that guy down. All right, now we're on the back of the necklace. And I think I'm just going to continue to wrap. That way I don't have a piece back here that's going to poke anybody. That's the thing with wire, you got to think about no poking. Or as Jem Hawks, if you ever watch Jem Hawks, she calls them sticky uppy bits. I love that. No sticky uppy bits. She's my wire work muse. I learn a lot from her on wire. And she does teach on those Jesse James classes. And all the instructors are great. Okay. I'm not going to fret that this is not perfectly lined up. I think there's a certain amount of charm to a little rusticness. But I do like the way that that looks. I like that a lot. And I may echo that up here because we have our really pretty sparkly bead. And I'm still debating, maybe we should put some beads with it. That's a large hole. And so I'm trying to think about how to, yeah, those are too small. How to make that not look so gaping. Maybe we should do a blue and a, let's try that. So we're going to need more wire. I'm just going to hand warm it. And let's see. We're pretty much going to do the same thing that we did on the bottom. I'm just wrapping this right now, and I'm pinching this with my thumb and my finger just so it doesn't go anywhere, because these donuts are slippery. They're very smooth, so you want to hang on to them. I'm just going to leave that for now. And let's add our beads. That's cool. All right. And let's make a loop up here so we can hang it off our necklace. And that wire wants to tangle on everything. So take your time. Whoop, there go the seed beads. Come back here, seed beads. Yes, I talk to my beads. Any of you that are new to the channel. I don't know why this camera is shaking. It must be attached to something. Sorry about that. All right. I'm just going to wire wrap this. And now, I think I will also wrap around these beads so I can get back down to the bottom so I can add the seed beads. So we're going to wrap, wrap, wrap. All right. Let's see if I can go this way with the beads. We'll see. I think that's going to be challenging, but we're going to try it. You don't know till you try. This is also not the way to pick up seed beads, but I think I may have to in case gravity's not my friend. Oh, maybe I could do it this way. Where there's a will, there's a way. I think if I have enough to wrap around that donut and do another little wrap, always to have more wire than you think you need when you're trying something. If I were to recreate this, I would have given myself another couple of inches of wire, I think. Let's see. I'm going to move that wire over so it keeps those seed beads. Now I've made a stopper so the seed beads can't go anywhere. If you can see that. And so I've not done this before, as you can tell. I do these things on the fly so we can all learn together. I mean, I have the idea in my head, but executing it on camera for the first time, it benefits you and me, because okay, so I have enough. Ooh, I just have enough, guys. Perfect. And it is a bit of a messy wrap. I know some of you are not a fan, but in this particular instance, I'm going for it. Were I to execute this another time, which I may do, having more wire would be probably allow me to make it a little neater, but we're going with the rustic boho method today. And also, I can come in here and kind of neaten these up with my pliers. So let me do that for just a second. Okay. So here's our focal piece. I think it's fun. And now we can string. Yay! The meditative part. Well, it's all meditative to me. Anytime I can work with my hands, even if it doesn't work out, it's still meditative. So my idea with the beads in the stringing was to follow this pattern. So I pulled some beads out here, and I thought I would do like a deep blue and a turquoise and a light blue, and then one of these guys, and then one of these guys. So it makes that, it looks like this little colorway right here. And I thought I would do that in the beginning of the necklace. And then I thought we could separate them by these really cute tribal beads. Or these. That's what I want to decide now is, do I want to put these, I think I want these more in the middle. Or then I could do these. I think we'll do those first. Then, same colorway, but different shapes. These guys. I'm not certain on these yet. I'm debating. I had some squares here. I may play around with the shapes more. And then I love these leaves in that kind of goldenrod color. And they look cool when you got them spaced out like this. And then maybe an oblong bead. And then I thought, these guys, and then let's see. Pardon my arm. These guys. Maybe we should continue. So maybe more squares. Of course, this is, like I always tell you, designer's choice. Another square bead. Then we want to do a gold bead. Let's do these. And then a couple more of those. And I think that's going to make that's going to make it pretty long. So let's start stringing. So what did I do with my stringing stuff? Oh, here it is. I'm using Beadalon number 7. It uses, I like this because it shows you what size crimp tube to use, or crimp bead. And there's 100 feet in this spool. But Beadalon or stuff from SoftFlex, I really like the SoftFlex, but in this particular case, you're not going to see much of it, and I would rather use it where you're going to see it. So I'm not using any SoftFlex today. But they have stringing wire also that, you know, doesn't need to show, of course. But I'm a huge fan of SoftFlex. So I've got my beading wire. I'm just going to string on my focal piece. Let me move this guy. And we're just going to string. And, oh, one other thing. Do I want to use any spacer beads? Let me think about that. And also, I think I want to move. I think I want these guys down here. Yeah, I think I like that better. So, do we want, so we have these really cute copper spacer beads. And we also have bead caps. So I'm thinking maybe just a few bead caps. In a few strategic places, like these little turquoise beads, maybe. I'm not going to use them everywhere, but they would add to kind of continue with the patina of our little drop down here. And then these, maybe we'll put some spacers here. Here. Maybe here. Let's see how that looks. You can always change your mind. So let's string one side, see if we like it before we commit to the other side. I am going to put a few beads on the one side just so it's stable. Boy, this wire is all curly Q. All right. Let me move this stuff over so I can get under the camera. Because I know you can't see what I'm doing. Not that you need to watch every minute of stringing. But, oh, goodness. Sorry, guys. I keep hitting that camera. Okay, so basically, let me move this over. See how curly my wire is? I'm at the end of the spool, that's why. It doesn't want to cooperate. All right, that's okay. I think the beads are heavy enough that, let me put it under my mat. There we go. Problem solved. Okay. We can just start stringing now. So, you know what, guys? I'm going to get a different wire. This is bugging me. I'll be right back with better wire. Guess what I found? SoftFlex. Yay! All right, much better. Medium beading wire. I mean, the other stuff is fine. I'm just at the end of the spool and it's just not cooperating. And one of the things that I will say for the SoftFlex is this is more flexible and the beads just glide. They just glide onto the wire. So I did have some that is just straight beading wire. I was hoping I did. Okay, so we've got our necklace piece, our center piece, and now we're going to string. Thank you for bearing with me. It happens to all of us. So I don't mind you seeing it happen to me because it's a real thing. You know, you start out with something and something doesn't work. You got to reevaluate and change direction sometimes. And that's just part of it. But the stringing, once you have it laid out, should not take long. I think that's really pretty. And then we were going to do a okay. I think I like that. Oh, we're going to do bead caps around this guy. I love these cube beads. They're super sparkly. Now we need to do another spacer bead. Now we're going to do our leaves. And like I said, I like staggering them. And notice I'm doing odd numbers again. So 3 of the leaves. Bead cap. Or not a bead cap, a big round bead. I think something needs to be between that big that big bead and the leaves. Maybe we'll pull in another little graphic element since we have one of these little guys down in our drop. See how we have those? So let's do that. I think I'll put one on either side. It's a big bead, so it can handle it. And then I love these. They didn't come in the box. I've had these. I've been waiting to use them with something. But I like that it echoes the shape of the donut. These bead caps are tiny. They're pretty though. I like the way they look up against this turquoisey, seafoamy kind of green. It's a nice combination. I can't get it on there. What's going on? Ah, there we go. Another light blue cube. Okay, let's take a look. Push these over for just a bit. I'm liking it. I think we'll do the other side. So I'm not going to make you suffer through the other side. I'm going to do the other side off camera, and we'll do our finishing up, putting our, I think we're going to use these toggle clasps we got in the bargain bead box. And I will be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I just added a little bit more to the end of this necklace. I decided I wanted to skosh longer. So I am going to, I've already got my crimp bead on here. I'm just adding the last, I added the one part of the toggle already, and I'm going to add the last piece of the toggle. And I am giving the wire some room, meaning I did make a pretty big loop, so it's not super tight. Then your necklace won't hang right if you've got things super tight. You want a little bit of give. And then the other trick is to make sure your crimp bead is down here towards your bead. And then I am going to come in with my crimpers. I have on order some crimp covers in the antique copper. I am out. So just know that after I get those, I will be covering these with the crimp cover. If you have the magical crimping tool from SoftFlex, then you don't need the crimper. I know I've shown that before on my channel. It makes the crimp bead look like a little bead. It's super cool. I guess we need to revisit that on another project, but you can do that as well. And here is our toggle that came with the box. And our necklace. There's a little bit of play in it. Now, see how there's a gap here? One of the things that I do, if I have that, is I'll add some crimp covers right on the back of this. And it looks like just a little copper bead. Like I said, I don't have any with me, but I will show that technique at some point in the future in 2023, but I think you get what I'm talking about. You don't need to put another crimp bead. You just close up the crimp cover so it looks like a bead, and then you can take care of that. This really doesn't bother me, but it might bother someone else. And so if you want that covered, you can do that. Here is our really pretty featured focal piece with the donut. I love it with the seed beads. You can still see plenty of the gemstone. And I do like the dangles and this kind of tribal piece, which is really fun, I think, not only with this round bead, but also these Z beads that we added. And, you know, we like to add I like to add graphic elements to things. So there is our necklace. Let me pull a white piece of paper so we can get a better sense of color. I wish they made these bead mats in white. I was thinking about just getting some white fabric for my channel. Let me know what you think, if that would be better, just for the sake of truly seeing the color. I mean, we talk so much about color. I want it to be, you know, read on the screen. So just let me know in the comments if you like the white better, so that I can maybe invest in, you know, a little bit of fabric to put on my bead boards, and it'll make more sense probably right from the beginning. But I do love the colorway, and I liked following this pattern that we had on our swatch. That's fun. And that's, you know, if you're not sure which way to go with something like this, you can just follow the pattern, really. You already know it looks pretty, just like that. So, yeah, I think I like the way that turned out. Boho, tribal glam, I guess you could say. And I do really love this rust color with all of these other colors. They look spectacular together. So thanks for joining me tonight. I know this one's out late, but had a lot going on today with this bead room. If you can see what a wreck it is. But it's getting better. Stay tuned for 2023. I do have some great ideas coming your way. Thank you so much for those of you who are subscribed already. Again, please sign up and subscribe. You can also join the Facebook group, Marcie Creates, over in Facebook. We post inspirational color theory and gemstones, and people share their jewelry designs, and it's a really nice group of folks. I think there's about 165 of us. If you've not subscribed, I'd love to have you. I'd love to get to 1,500 subscribers. 1,391, I think, is the number I'm at right now. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But again, as always, thank you so much for watching. And if you do make something like this or try any of these techniques, you know, let me know. And do post on the Facebook group. Take care of yourselves and your families and be safe. I am going to wish you a Happy New Year now. I probably will come out with another video before then, but I'm not certain. So I want to go ahead and say that. I hope you have a safe New Year's Eve. Go have fun or spend time with your families. And looking forward to a great 2023 with all of you. Take care.